Job creation accelerated in May, but is still below lofty expectations. Most of you saw the news on Friday, another disappointment with jobs in America. And on today's video, and if you didn't get a chance, please go back to my last two videos out in Los Angeles, Venice Beach. If you want to see what cities like Los Angeles are looking like, what's happening to them, what the real economy is doing with the amount of businesses, especially small business, shuttering at a record pace. The homeless crisis in California and Los Angeles just surging. Businesses closing at a rapid pace, a homeless crisis surging at a rapid pace. This is the real economy here in America. And now we look at the job numbers, we look at job creation, we look at who's going back to work. Interesting article I was reading last night on The Hedge. Who's hiring and who's firing in May? A third of all jobs, get this, a third of all jobs were waiters and bartenders. You know, if you want to be a waiter or a bartender today, you couldn't pick a better time, because that's the jobs, that's the job sector that is surging right now, waiters and bartenders. So let's look at the May job numbers. 559,000 jobs were added. 674,000 is what they expected to add. So we came well short of the 674. We need to be adding at least 1 million jobs per month to recover, and we're not anywhere near that. Remember, most of these jobs are old jobs. We're not creating many new jobs. We're just adding the old jobs. People are just returning to their old jobs. We're not seeing job creation, just people returning to old jobs. 1/3 of all new jobs created in May, as I said earlier, were waiters and bartenders. How's that for the good news today? Isn't that wonderful? So we can all just go out and be waiters and bartenders. That's what we can look forward to being, I guess. Of the 559,000 jobs added, 292,000 were in leisure and hospitality. Of that 292,000, ladies and gentlemen, 186,000 were waiters and bartenders. Amusement parks, gambling and recreation added 58,000 jobs. Accommodation added 35,000. Employment in leisure and hospitality is down by 2.5 million, or 15% from its level back in February of 2020. So somebody please tell me where this magnificent recovery is. When are we going to see this recovery? Where is it? I'm seeing a lot of inflation. I'm seeing a lot of stores closing, and I'm seeing a lot of homeless people, but I'm not seeing a whole lot of a recovery. Local government education jobs rose by 50,000 in state government education, 41,000 in private education. However, employment is down from the February 2020 levels. When we look at local government education, we're down 556,000 jobs, state government education down 244,000 jobs, and private education down 293,000 jobs compared to February of 2020. Again, where is this recovery? I keep hearing how great the stock market's doing, but when are we going to start hearing about the real economy and how great the real economy is doing? It is dying. Healthcare and social assistance added 46,000 jobs. You know, with all the sick people we have in America and all the obesity, you would think we'd be adding a lot more jobs than that. 18,000 of the 23,000 were social assistance jobs, and this is in childcare. Again, low-paying jobs. When we look at the February 2020 levels, healthcare, we're down 508,000 jobs compared to February 2020. And social assistance jobs were down 257,000 compared to February of 2020. But again, 18 of the 23,000 jobs in social assistance were childcare jobs, just low-paying jobs. We look at leisure and hospitality, most of those low-paying jobs, and we're looking at healthcare and social assistance, more healthcare assistance and more social assistance. And this is just low-paying jobs, ladies and gentlemen. Manufacturing jobs in May, this was interesting, rose by a whopping 23,000, only down 509,000 from the February 2020 numbers. Boy, you know, with this booming economy, you would think we'd be adding more than 23,000 jobs in manufacturing, but then again, what do we manufacture? We don't make a whole lot here, do we? Transportation and warehousing added 23,000 jobs in May. Since February, jobs in transportation and warehousing are down 100,000. I'll tell you whose transportation and warehousing must be booming: Asia. I would hate to see the numbers over in Asia in regards to transportation and warehousing. Construction and employment, get this, we continue to hear about the big boom. Construction and employment lost 20,000 jobs in May. Employment in construction is down 225,000 jobs compared to February of 2020. Where is the recovery? Retail jobs, we lost 6,000 in May. Employment in retail is down 411,000 jobs compared to February 2020. You know, when you just, and look, I think these are really conservative numbers. I think it's worse than this. But when you start peeling this onion back, we got major, major problems. I was reading an article early this afternoon on CNBC. Higher interest rates would be good for the country, Treasury Secretary Yellen says. Please comment down below. Let me know, do you think higher interest rates would be good for the country? I think it would collapse what's left of this economy. I think at this point you would see a major housing crash, stock market crash, you name it, everything would crash. But according to Janet Yellen, Treasury Secretary, she believes that this would be good for the country. Are they getting ready to do something? Are they telling us something? Are they getting us warmed up? U.S. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen said that the president's $4 trillion spending proposal would be a positive for the country, even if it leads to a rise in interest rates. She said this during an interview on Bloomberg News. She went on to say, if we end up with a slightly higher interest rate environment, it would actually be a plus for society's point of view and the Fed's point of view. Please comment down below. What would a slightly, what does that mean? 25 basis points? 50 basis points, a point and a half, I don't know. But what does it mean for America? What does it mean for the stock market, the housing market? What does it mean for the credit market? What does it mean? Is it good? Is it bad? I think we would see very, very big trouble. I think if they raised rates a half a point, we would see a catastrophic result, in my opinion. CNBC, Bitcoin falls after Elon Musk tweets breakup meme. Bitcoin's price fell Friday morning after Elon Musk posted a tweet suggesting he's fallen out of love with the world's top cryptocurrency. Right now, late this afternoon on this Sunday, Bitcoin is around $35,600. It's trying to get back to 40,000. Every time it gets close, it seems to get pulled right back down. What do you guys think? Is it going to, break 100,000 by the end of this year like they predicted, or is Bitcoin and many of these cryptos in very, very big trouble? If I bought it at 65,000, I bought it at 55,000, if I bought it at 50,000, I would be getting a little worried right now. Bloomberg Business Week. The bottom 90% of Americans are borrowing from the top 1%. A substantial amount of borrowing by households in the bottom 90% of the wealth distribution was financed through the accumulation of financial assets by the top 1%. The top 1%, they're going to own literally everything. We're watching a historic wealth transfer take place, even though, when I'm out at Venice Beach, people are riding their bikes, they're, listening to their music, they're jogging, they're ignoring the warning signs that they're running by and walking by every day. Homeless people, tents, vacant buildings, businesses shuttered forever, restaurants, retailers, all gone, infrastructure crumbling, yet people they walk around with blinders on. They ride their bikes with blinders on. And as long as it's not affecting their little world, their bubble is fine. But I'm going to tell you, a lot of these people, whether it's in Los Angeles or California or East Coast, Midwest, their bubble's going to be popped, ladies and gentlemen. And if you're not prepared to deal with reality, you're going to be in a world of hurt. The rich are getting richer. Everyone else is getting deeper into debt. Rates have fallen, causing extreme wealth inequality in America, and the rich are taking full advantage of it. The lending from rich to poor can be indirect. For example, let's say a rich person buys shares issued by a company. That company stashes the proceeds at a bank. The bank in turn makes a loan to a non-rich person to buy a car or a house. The borrowers have a higher propensity to spend than the lenders, but they have less money to spend because part of their income goes to servicing debt. You know, we are seeing wealth inequality unlike we've ever seen in this country. We're seeing opportunity inequality in this country unlike we've ever seen. It is getting harder and harder to find opportunity, harder and harder to find a well-paying job. And that 1% at the very top, you know, the money didn't trickle down to where it should have, into the real economy, to the small business owners, to the retailers, to the restaurant owners. It didn't trickle down where it should have went. It stayed at the very top of the pyramid, and these people are getting richer and richer, and people are having to borrow and borrow more money and making these people richer and richer. You know, again, if you get a chance, please go back to a couple of my past videos at Venice Beach, out in Los Angeles. It's an atrocity to see what is happening to our cities. It's an atrocity to see how people are living and not getting any help. This is bad for society. It's bad for the business owners. It's bad for the homeowners in those areas. It's bad for the people on the street who may have mental disabilities, drug addictions, people who've maybe escaped abuse, and people who've had bad luck. Why are we not helping other Americans who need help? We're just throwing them away like garbage, and we're just supposed to look at this every day, walk by it, ride our bikes by it, and ignore it, which people are doing. People are being conditioned now to ignore tents, to ignore people laying on sidewalks, ignoring trash, ignoring the rat epidemic that these cities are facing. And sooner or later, we're not going to be able to ignore it. And these people who believe that they're immune from all this because they're in their own little bubble, what happens when you lose your job? What happens when your little bubble gets popped? Many people do not understand this, that we have 12 million renters behind in rent and their families, which equals 44 to 48 million people, over 3 million people in forbearance. When the bills come due, and people realize that the gravy train is over, that there's no more stimulus, there's no more benefits, there's no more unemployment, and now they can't find a job, or they're gonna have to work at Walmart for $8 or $10 an hour, 25 hours a week. Many people, and these people who might be making $100,000, $200,000, $300,000 a year, they believe they're immune, their bubble can't be popped, but you know what? Those people can lose a job too, and those jobs are even harder to replace. You lose a job making $100,000 a year, you're gonna have a hard time replacing that job. Bubbles are gonna pop, and a lot of personal bubbles are gonna pop, and people are gonna find out that they've been lied to, they've been fooled, and they're gonna find out that they are not prepared to deal with the change that is coming. Their standard of living is going to change. People going broke just to try to hang on to being middle class. I'm watching some YouTube videos today in the repo business, and I cannot believe some of the videos I see regarding the repo business and how busy it is and how desperate people are to hang on to their cars. How many people are behind multiple payments on an auto? We know people, 12 million people are behind on average $6,000 on rent. This is going to get really, really ugly. And when I go to places like LA and I see what's happening to the economy, and I see what's happening socially and how people are living, and I see the haves and the have-nots, and the haves ignore the have-nots. The haves believe they can never land up homeless. They believe they can never land up living in a tent or short of food. They just believe it can't happen. And I'm here to tell you it can happen to anybody. It can happen to anybody. This country, when we look statistically, half of this country doesn't even have $400 saved up for an emergency. We are on the razor's edge. So many people are hanging on by a thread, and a little bit of bad luck, or a spouse loses a job and now 50% of the income in that household is gone, people are going to be in very, very, very big trouble. We're going to see more people moving in. We're going to see older kids moving back in with mom and dad. We're going to see mom and dad moving in with the kids. We're going to see brothers, sisters, family members all moving back in, aunts and uncles moving in. We're going to see more of this. I've already seen it happening over the last 2 years. And this is going to accelerate. People are going to do what they have to do to survive. And we're at a point now, and as I make these videos, I'm going to remind you, we are in a time of survival. You know, cut out wasting your money. Make sure you have a cash reserve. Make sure you have some hard, tangible assets. You need to be putting away things that cannot be duplicated. Gold, silver, collectibles, cash, and most of all, get the debts paid down. And most of all, on that list, at the very top, security. Security, security, security. And make sure you have food, water, all that stuff. Batteries, candles, matches. The list goes on. But this is a time where all of us better really be thinking for ourselves and really thinking for the worst case scenario and what you need to have in case the lights go out, what you need to have in case you lose a job. Again, I was appalled with what I saw in LA. Please watch those videos. So many people so close, they're on the brink, and many of them don't even realize it. Many do, and many don't. And there's many people out there still doing well. Their stocks are going up. They're making money. You may have a good job. We are in such an uncertain time that you don't know if you're going to have a job tomorrow, next week, next month, or next year. And if you're not putting money away, if you're not putting assets away right now, if you don't have an emergency fund and that day of reckoning comes to you, what are you going to do? If you have nobody to fall back on, what are you going to do? I don't want to see anybody out there. That means you. I don't want to see any of you land up like those people that I see in LA all the time when I go out there. They're absolute victims of this economy. And yes, many of them, got there by their own demise. But there are a lot of people out there, educated, good people, who came upon some very, very bad luck and they're getting no help. And when people lose everything, when they're down and out, who's going to help you? You think your bank's going to help you? You think your politicians are going to help you? You think your church is going to help you? Are your friends going to help you? More than likely, nobody's going to be there to help you. Nobody. That's why I think the best thing to do is preventative maintenance right now. Don't allow yourself to be broke. Don't allow yourself to get deeper in debt. Don't allow yourself to be a victim. The best way to not land up in that position of living in a tent or on a sidewalk is don't get yourself in the situation of being a debt slave. Right now, if you're watching this video, get the debts paid off. That's the main thing you can do right now. Get the debts paid off. Because as we get deeper into this collapse, the debt slaves are going to be absolutely victimized here. So don't be a debt slave. Get the debts paid off. Take advantage of the wealth transfer. Don't be a victim of it, okay? God bless all of you. Look forward to talking to all of you very, very soon. Share this video, give it a like, and make sure you hit that bell notification so that you are alerted with the newest video. God bless.